Good morning, Professor. We are team number 21, and at this time we will presenting about case analysis and the group members. The first one is me. My name is Nim Christian Standio, and beside me is Natasha Wusli Swidono. The next one is Sherilyn Olam, and this one is Jacinta Evelyn Juwono, and then Fanny Octavia, and the last one is Evander Hartanto. Thank you. Okay, everyone. I will answer the first question. Which of the issues are personal or interpersonal versus systematic or organizational? And our answer, the problem is interpersonal and systemic problem. Okay. Next, the interpersonal one. We think that the reason are, the first one, there are misunderstandings between teams, and the second one is about the lack of communication between the team as well. And for the example, the first one we have the problem between Neil and Rini, and the second one, the problem between Al Perez, Leo, Rini, and Tracy with Melissa. Next, about the systemic one, our reason are the first one, unsuitable organizational structure, and the second one is the insufficient and chaotic system of the organization. And for the example, the organization use department division by location, but there is also operation and compensation team on the same level, so it's not effective. And next, there are also some teams that do not feel like they are being appreciated by the other team, and vice versa.
So next is, how does the organization's design contribute to the problems that this team is experiencing? In our opinion, the current structure that this organization has is really faulty, because 4 people as the regional sales directors are in the same level of the operation and compensation manager. And this results in the ineffectiveness of their performance. For example, when Melissa tried to correct the mistakes of the sales directors, they tend not to pay attention as they think that Melissa is in the same level as them. And it is unexpectedly justifiable that the sales directors are not pleased of the way Melissa works, as she is not in the same level above them. And in order to solve this problem, the structure has to be changed, either way in moving Melissa up or moving down. And both of this has both the benefits and the drawbacks. For moving Melissa up, Melissa can deliberately point out mistakes that go against the rules, but she still needs to be supervised to prevent overpowering. But by moving Melissa down, it is probably that Melissa cannot really point out all the small details that they made, or else she will be criticized by the sales directors. But on the other hand, her opinion may be disregarded as she is not in the same level as themselves. So after full consideration, we chose to move Melissa up, as it may enhance the company's performance, as more discipline is included in the organization and no more mistakes are expected to appear in the organization.
The third question is, if you were to summarize the issue for Neil, how would you present the data back to him? We would like to say that all of the problems are connected to each other. But We will divide it into interpersonal problem and systematic problem. The reason why the interpersonal problem could happen because of lack communication and misunderstanding, creating a situation where everyone hates Melissa. Melissa feels her new ideas are not appreciated, and others feel Melissa are making them to work harder for no reason. One of the example is Melissa's asking them to do everything twice, rejecting their documents and auditing them. Meanwhile, what she was actually trying to do is change the system to become a better system. But because of lack communication, no one knows that Melissa trying to make a better system. The second thing is systematic. In organization misstructure and insufficient system, these are the reason why systematic problem could happen. The situation is employee complains about no one helping them and too much work. Also, Melissa's system will not work out. One of the example is Renee complained that what they need is actually advice, not giving judgment and audit. Also, too much workload is because in Renee department, they have a lot of sales. Meanwhile, in other department, their sales is not as much as Renee. This is one of the problem because there's not an even workload with everyone. So one is busier than another. And then they were forced to pay more attention on operation system other than making sales. The last one is Melissa's system cannot work out because everyone keep giving Melissa bad feedbacks. Again, it's connected to the misunderstanding problem because no one understands that Melissa is trying to change the system. So they just keep giving feedback, and therefore the system will not be able to work properly.
So now I will explain the Neil's role in this conflict. So Neil contributes by being subjective and ignorant. The first one is subjective. Neil thinks that Melissa is a really determined person, process-oriented, and stick to the book person, and that is the reason why Neil promoted Melissa. On the other side, Neil thinks that Renee is really toxic to the organization, and Renee often yells at people at the meetings. So Neil, and this is the proof that Neil is really subjective to Melissa and Renee. As a leader, Neil can be considered as an ignorant leader. So why? Because he doesn't realize that there is something wrong with the system. Instead, he always blames the people for all the problems in the organization. And this following sentence proves that that Neil is too focused on the people's problem. Well, Tracy and Leo all have their complaints about Melissa too. Mostly they get worked out among the group.
So the fourth question is, do you think this team can reconcile this conflict, or has this team reached a point where it's beyond repair? So we think that this team can still reconcile this conflict because the problem is not fatal. So we can still resolve this problem because the problem are mostly caused by miscommunication. For example, like when Melissa made a new system, the other team hasn't know about it yet, so there was a miscommunication about them. And the other reason is that the tangled thread have not been unrelieved yet. We can still resolve this problem with changing the organization structure and clear up all the problems by having a meeting regularly to clear up all the problems that happen. And the last one is try to neutralize the atmosphere by forgetting each other. So the first solution is changing the hierarchy structure as I mentioned above by putting Melissa directly under the vice president. And the second solution is having a job rotation for the sales department because by having job rotation, they can reduce boredom, increase motivation, and better understanding of how their work contributes to other organizations. By having a job rotation, they also can find the best place for their own work, which part is most comfortable for them and which part is more suitable for them to work.
Now I will explain about the next solution. The third solution is compromise. The purpose by having the compromise in the organization is clearing up problems between each member in the organization and then making deals between all parties. And the last one is reducing miscommunication between each members. And the fourth solution is all channel formal communication. This communication style engage the group members to communicate actively between each member, and also this communication style has a better fluid arrangement if you compare it with the will formal communication, because will formal communication controlled by central figure, which is in this case is CEO. And then also encourage lateral communication. Lateral communication is a communication between members in the same class. So by using all channel formal communication, hopefully they can communicate actively between members in the same class as well. The fifth solution is learn how to be a good leader and manager at the same time. So Neil, as the CEO of the company, should be able to inspire and create a vision for his group member. And also, Neil should be able to create plans, meeting deadlines, and supervise day-to-day operations. So Neil can control all what things going on in the organization. And also, by doing this solution, hopefully Neil can be a good leader and can manage the company better than before.
This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.